Oh, you were telling me about a lion getting chased around a zoo in Japan, or a dude in a lion suit.
Yeah, all right, hang on. So I'm gonna copy the link. Let me put it into the show notes section as well, so that people on the stream, people that have just started off the podcast, would be like, "What the fuck are these two on about?" Welcome to the Hidden City Roller podcast, where we just randomly talk about shit. Maybe it's to do with Alpha, maybe it's not to do with
We've
Alpha.
just discovered the off-topic channel in the L5R global Discord, and we're rabbit holing pretty seriously. So, which was
I put it in. I put it in the recording zone chat, so you can have a look.
okay.
For people for
Okay.
people listening, it's in the show notes.
First of all, this is quite great.
So it's a picture of a guy dressed up as a lion, all right, like in a lion furry suit, and he's kind of aimlessly wandering around, and the caption says, "Japanese zoo runs lion escape drill." So it's like these guys with nets trying to catch the dude in the lion furry suit.
Does this dude in a furry lion suit very much, I think, captures the spirit of the Lion Clan in
The
L5R?
Lion Clan right now.
They're supposed to be
Yeah.
vicious, and everyone's approaching them like they should be,
Yeah.
but actually, they got fuck all, and they're just not very intimidating. But
Do they get him at the end? It looks like he's sort of is he in a car at the end?
he's in a van. No, I think he probably stole that truck and bailed out. The lion
Lion's
just
just
jumped
driving
in and
away.
took off. Yeah, no, yeah, I have the feels for this meme. I
Well, I don't know why I'm listening tonight. I got a feeling that the cards just ain't right. I'm so salty, must not give in to rage. And I'm wondering what those rollers will say. Scars still left in me, cheers to the right. Here I am, gonna roll a derby tonight. Gonna roll a derby tonight. Gonna roll a derby tonight.
tried to make a lion deck the other day, the same way I've been building a lot of decks. I've been basically running a theme out of every clan where I take 3 costers and just cram as many as I can in there with a few 4s if they're appropriate, and then just dirt cheap everything else, like tons of attachments, in the conflict side. And it works for everyone
So it's
except
like-
Lion, because they just don't have enough people that are at all reasonable compared to every other clan. Like, Lion have really good characters. They just don't have many of them. Like, and I think it's the first time I've really... Like, it's always been a bit of a meme, right? Lion are bad. But it's the first time I've really stopped and realised, oh, no, here's is the thing. Like, they just don't have enough that's reasonable compared to everybody else. Every other clan, it was easy. I could just populate that deck, and some of them I even had to cull, right? Like, trim it down and make hard decisions. But no, Lion was like, oh yeah, I'm at 24 cards, I'm running 12 holdings, and I still can't fill this fucking Dynasty deck. What the hell is going on? It's really sad.
Yep, it sure is. So that's like your cheap and nasty Lion version, is it?
Yeah, it's not quite the same. It's sort of cheap and nasty is cheap everywhere. It's pretty cheap Dynasty and Conflict, but this one is just sort of an easy version. Like, you dump, it's the same principle, but you dump all your fate every turn on a 3 or 4 coster because they balance out.
Can't be assassinated. They stay alive for a
they,
while.
They can't be assassinated, and particularly the emphasis on the 3 costers, because you can include your humble magistrates to shut people down, who's super, super good.
So, cheap and nasty, it's a way of life. It's not
It
just
is,
a Scorpion deck, it's a way of life.
I feel like I was reflecting on why I enjoy that deck so much and why it's done decent for me. I think it's because cheap and nasty style decks are easy to play and easy to do well with because they autopilot. Like, I don't have to manage fate because everything's free, and they draw heaps of cards. So you can take a bad player like me, and you can get used to the deck and play it, and you can just do fine, and you can do okay, because, like, it cuts out a lot of the mistakes you can make in the game, like overspending in Dynasty and things like that. Like, you can't do that with that deck. It doesn't matter.
Sounds fair.
I think that's what's going on. I think is I've just found a crutch.
So I've in our show notes in like the chat, I've now put that GIF. So now when I'm reading through the show notes to see where we're on track or not. I'm running into that GIF. It's fantastic.
I'm a bit hypnotized. He just looks so aimless. Anyway.
I know, yeah. So I guess a little bit of an apology is in order, I think. So for people that were expecting a podcast last week, you and I, we just couldn't line up a time. Mostly my fault, I think. I was sort of flying about the place and preparing for things that I had to do for work.
We just couldn't organize a time. Successful career bullshit, grown-up stuff.
Well, you know, you do what you have to, right?
But do you have to?
Well, in this case, I did. Yeah, in this case, I definitely did have to. And this week we have postponed just a little bit to see if we could get into the new restricted list. And now that I've got a proper microphone, we can actually sit down and have a conversation about it.
I don't know. It's a big list of changes. I'm not sure we've got. Got everything.
I scrolled through all of the changes and just had a bit of a quick read before this, and the long story short, Spyglass gets added to the restricted list. Right?
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So
I'll take it. I'll 100% take it.
It's whatevs. Like, I feel like they're getting a bit too liberal with the old restricted list, to be honest. There's so much on there that's not game-breaking stuff. They're just pretty inconvenient to slightly... They're using the restricted list now to slightly alter balance and like power levels, and I don't feel like that was the intention. I'm pretty sure they said that's not what they wanted to do at the beginning. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but I seem to remember it being, no, we only want to do it for really important stuff. Like, Tadaka I sort of understand, and just game cards.
Tadaka got a technical errata as well as is on the restricted list.
Well, that was two-phase though, because Tadaka was so strong that restricted list couldn't hold him. Right? So it was. Right. They put him on the restricted list and everyone's like, yeah, whatever. We're like, okay, lol.
Well, because the deck literally didn't change. Like, he ended up on the restricted list and Against the Waves comes off the list, and the deck that was dominating nothing changed.
Yeah, right. But like I appreciate that move though. I like that Against the Wave came off the list because it's a really fun card that enables a lot of other deck types, like Shigenja and stuff in other clans. It's a really key card for that kind of stuff, which sort of you can't really do if it's restricted. So it's really good. But I feel that way as well about like Rebuild, for example, and about Spyglass. And there are several others. I don't even have the whole restricted list in front of me, but there's probably, I don't know, if it was up to me, it'd be like 3/4 to half of that list would go. It's like 20 cards now or something, isn't it?
Are you saying Rebuild shouldn't be on the list? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I don't want it to on the list.
Okay.
Not the same thing as should. Like, I think... I don't know. Like, I don't think it was that big of a drama, to be honest. Like you know what I mean? Like, there are...
Rebuild a great card to have on the list, actually. Because I think that if you took Rebuild off, if you just straight up took it off, then Rebuild offers an insane amount of utility, I think, in a crab deck.
Yep.
And if you take it off, then they can put one of these other cards in, right? So I'm trying to think what they
if you want to...
But
all these cards, in all seriousness, think about it, like, they always... Like, actually, these two, so Rebuild and Spyglass, they quote as, no, these are cards that we are restricting to hurt crab, but... Well, not to hurt. Hurt's not the word. I mean, that's what it is.
They use the word weaken. They said we're
weaken
adding
or
this
balance,
to weaken the current crab deck.
Yeah, so, okay, fine. But you know what else would do that without hurting everybody else? If you restricted Steadfast Witch Hunter. Right?
Sure,
everyone...
But is Steadfast Witch Hunter actually the problem card?
No, it's not, but they would run that instead. Right? And then...
They would run Witch Hunter instead of Rebuild.
I think so. I think that card is bonkers. If not, or maybe... I don't know, any other thing that's like a key component of just crab on the conflict side, because you force them to choose that, which is a key piece, and it would bring them down a peg, or they don't take it, and sure, they can take one of those others like Rebuild. I feel like most crab players would probably take Witch Hunter over Rebuild, to be honest. I mean...
Hey, I'm not a crab player, but whenever Witch Hunter hits the table, I'm like, whatever. But I am desperately trying to get them to use their rebuilds early in the game.
Yeah,
I don't really care when or how they use their witch hunters.
Yeah, I guess
Just as an opponent.
whether or not it's witch hunter, I think something that is explicitly crab, is maybe what they should be targeting, so that it only hurts crab. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. There were probably a couple of candidates, right? So, Watch Commander, or A Mountain Doesn't Fall, or Fight On. Those are the cards I think that that I always, sort of have a problem with or have a problem dealing with, and they're the cards that my whole play is kind of revolving around those cards.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Particularly with Fight On. I mean, I think I'd be inclined to agree because Fight On, to me, feels like a raw power card. Like it's just so big, right? Like it straightens and it moves a guy in, and it can be used whenever you want to. Sure, it's roll locked, but there's like 3 clans with that roll at the moment.
So what you're saying is it would be better to have Fight On the list because it only hurts crab, whereas Spyglass hurts a bunch of different clans.
Yeah, I think also Spyglass is sort of draw more cards, right? I understand their reasoning. I just think I come from a point of play where the interesting deck building and the construction of stuff and the doing, trying to innovate and failing desperately but still having a good time doing it is what I enjoy doing a lot. And a lot of people I know are in that same position. And I get that the restricted list is really predominantly or exclusively about competitive gameplay. And they're not.
It's 100% just about competitive. Yeah, because if it only applies to competitive play, I think. Maybe not. I might not be right about that. No, but you're right. It's kind of aimed at that. Because you could just go to your friendly local game store with a deck that doesn't have the clan roll and doesn't have or doesn't abide by the restricted list, and play that if everybody's cool.
But I guess where I think it's contradictory to what they keep saying they want to do, and it's the same argument in a way as freeing the rolls, right? I think they keep saying they do these things to enable more choice because there's not just one correct choice. But they do that by removing the choices for other clans. Like, I had a great fun deck I used to play at a Phoenix with Charge Bird and Rebuild and all sorts of nonsense that I do, right? Heaps of holdings and you'd rebuild them around and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And it was really good fun and I really enjoyed it. And it wasn't awful. It was a bit ridiculous, but it wasn't awful. But that's no longer an option because I can't run Rebuild with Charge, right? To enable the kind of stuff I was after. The sort of decks where, like with Satoshi and Rebuild, for example, any clan can have a deck where they try to get Satoshi, mill all the top to get the Keeper Initiates in the bin, and then rebuild a couple of holdings over if they want to, which is a good little gimmick. But those options are no longer on the table when you take away really neat, interesting, and different cards like that. So, yeah, look, I think... Yeah, you're right. Who
knows what the future will bring? One of the things I'm really looking forward to, actually, in the sort of recent-ish future, or near future, is there's a tournament going on at Gen Con. It's called Elements Unbound. And I've got to check, but I'm pretty sure you can choose any role that you want, as opposed to you can have a deck which includes element-locked cards from any element. So I think it's the former rather than the latter. But I'm really keen.
Yeah, you can choose any role, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's cool. What it is.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like it.
So right now, in addition to testing like a competitive deck, I got to find just a random crazy Keeper of Fire deck, maybe, or Keeper of Earth, Seeker of Earth. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, it depends what's legal, right? If Earth becomes Sky is legal, then.
That would be really nice.
All on for Earth rolls, mate. Like,
yep,
super good. But there's a super juicy Keeper of Fire Scorpion deck I've got in the back of my mind that I've been toying with for ages, just waiting for my time because it'd be super good.
I was thinking about Fire for Phoenix, but mostly because of that card that says, your people can't be dishonored. And I think it's actually worded like you can't become dishonored, a bit like Steward of Law. So it's a little bit more shit than I thought it was, because you can be honored and then go to neutral, but you can't be neutral and go to dishonored, which kind of, I don't know, doesn't seem as good now all of a sudden.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, Phoenix have got quite a few more glory, like the Inferno Guard card, and they've got a few more glory bumps coming with cards that also protect them, because you keep in mind that there's those 2 Bushi cards that are events that give you honored status in some way or another.
Purity of Spirit is one of them.
That's the Phoenix one, and then the Perfect Cut for neutral.
Yes.
Yeah. Which are both really good. I mean, they're Bushi cards, but
Yeah, so one of the guys here was testing that on Tuesday when we played.
Yep.
He said it was amazing. So if your deck has, a reasonable amount of consistent Bushi, apparently Perfect Cut is just great. Because I'm wondering, but it seems like you win more conflicts than you lose, right? Like,
yes, because
you generally go and initiate a conflict where you're confident that the outcome's gonna turn out in your favor. So Perfect Cut kind of just says, win, give you a +2, and then when you eventually win, because of course you're going to win, because you were confident you were going to win, give your guy +2. Give your guy an honored token.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I feel like
win more cards should be like that. Like they win more, but you still get something now. Like it's not.
Oh no, I disagree. I don't think it's win more. I think that's actually That's actually the kind of card you want in your deck, because it helps you come from behind, right? So it gives you your +2, and it sort of allows you to plan for the future, because it's giving you the latent effect of getting the honored token, which obviously is only going to come into effect the next conflict that this person is a part of.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, it is. I mean, but that's win more, right? Like you only get the effect if you win.
No, win more is a card that only helps you if you're already winning. That's what win more is.
Okay, I follow you. But yeah,
I'm trying to think of an example.
Oh, like Greater Glory.
Oh, for great? No, yeah, maybe for Greater Glory.
It literally
that
only
one's
works
a bit
if you
more
win.
snowbally. Yeah, but it's a bit more snowball. It's like, actually, no, you're right. It doesn't really help you come from behind. You had to have won and be in a good place, and then it'll sort of give you more momentum for next turn. But I was thinking the one where you attack out a unicorn, and then you attack again, like Breakthrough, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I feel like that's win more. It's like I'm in a good spot. I've had a good attack. I'm now going to have my other really good attack. That's all it does.
It kind of, but I mean, because it like skips your ability to use your Shiotomi encampments and straighten effects, it's sort of pretty rough
it's not
to use. It doesn't really synergize as well as I think they'd hoped it would. But yeah.
But you're right. It is a good card. And I think I'm getting my pack on Saturday. I got one of the local guys was ordering it in, I think, from Amazon.
Nice.
So allegedly it's here on Saturday. So maybe I'll have a chance to play with it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I haven't got mine yet either, actually. Our local store was a bit laggy for some reason.
Well, hang on. No, I thought you said there were a bunch of stores in Perth that had it.
They did, but not the one I'm going to purchase from. And
I see.
And it wasn't going to be
This is where you need.
for the
No, you
events
need
anyway.
to. You need to spread around, the love. Hedge your bets a little bit. I'm guessing you just buy one pack, and that's it, right?
Yes.
I don't do that. I buy 3. So I'll buy them at I'll pre-order with one store and then another store. So I've actually got one coming over from Australia, from a store in Australia, and I've got one from the guy that ordered, off. Oh no, it wasn't Amazon. It was the FFG to get the promo cards and stuff.
Dude.
So don't judge me. Don't judge me. I did order it from a store. I am supporting a store.
Feeding the beast.
But I am also getting the extra the deck backer stuff. I don't know why. And maybe I'll get a Chinese version. I don't know. But Saturday.
Yeah. Well, that way, when you go to an event over there, if someone's like, "What does this card do?" you can just bring out the Chinese version, give it to them. Say,
yeah. Well, Yeah.
That's what it does.
Actually, a lot of the players here, our play group is kind of expanding a little bit. Like there are some new people that are interested in the game,
Nice.
and they're buying off the people who have already got cards, but they've got like an English set and a Chinese set. So the people with those two sets are like selling the English sets on, so they only have the Chinese cards.
Gotcha.
Here's the thing. I was playing with the playgroup here on Tuesday, and I was playing. I don't know why. I just kind of grabbed a deck off my bench and went to the thing. It turned out it was like 4 cards short on the conflict side and 3 cards short on the dynasty side, and it was like one of my work in progress. That didn't really have a whole lot of focus, and I got my ass kicked with this deck. It was horrible, and I picked up one of their crane decks. Right, and it was all in Chinese, so I had to spend half the time on my phone looking up what these cards do. But I felt so in control. I felt so in control playing Crane.
Yeah.
I bought my guy who had I bought who's the guy that makes the conflict 0 on both sides if you win a duel at the end.
He forces a draw. Yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, you buy him on turn 1. That's great. Then he initiates a duel. I think I had a favorable ground, so he goes into a conflict and just has a bit of a look at a province. If it was like he goes and have a look at my province, goes and has a look at a province, and then comes home. He gets himself into a duel and then becomes honored, and then he's a beast. Like this guy. Yeah, I felt very in control because as soon as he's honored, you got your voice of honors, you got the jewels. Even if you don't sort of win the jewels, that's still good because you can honor your people with the stronghold. The jewels that are in the deck are great. There's the jewel that's basically a cloud the mind jewel to blank your opponent's card abilities. There's a policy debate. It's great. So I just had so much fun.
Yeah, no, they are. They're super, super good, and the jewels are really strong. Like, I don't know. They just when you play, particularly I think Crane with the Unicorn Splash, like they've got so many characters with really good active abilities that you can kind of just run them into conflicts, do their damage, and then use all those unicorn move effects to move them elsewhere to trigger their abilities. Like Toshimoko can attack in one location, and then you just steed him across into another one so that he can then use his jewel and just neutralize it, right? Like, they're all like that. They all do the same really dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Really
and you remember,
strong.
I remember in Core Set when some people were playing around with duelist training, and it was good, but it wasn't great. It is now great because your guy Toshimoko, even if he's bowed, right, is in a conflict duelist training your opponent, and one of the strongest effects is bow in a conflict because it neutralizes all of that skill on that character.
Yeah, I think as characters come out that have stronger abilities that can only be used in conflicts, which is definitely like the pattern now, like it's a clear push. I think Sandhome is going to have more juice where like because people that are bad can still use their tricks.
Does duelist training give a person duelist? I think it does, doesn't it?
Does it? I don't.
Oh.
That doesn't ring a bell, but I don't know.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it does.
But the other card that is really effective in the Crane deck is Test of Skill, because all you guys are duelists, so you're just looking at the top 4 cards and going, I'll have all these events, please.
Well, the thing is, you don't need to run. You don't need duelists to test a skill. It lets you filter slightly more, right? But it's a fate and a card for 2 cards. So
it's a fate and potentially 2 cards for 1 card. So Test of Skill says you pay 1 fate and then you look at the top 3 cards. You name a card type and then you look at the top 3 cards and you can take up to 2 of that card type from whatever you find. So you say event and then you draw 2 events and 1 attachment off the top of your deck.
Yep.
You discard the attachment and then you can put the other 2 in your hand. And if you have a duelist on the table, you can draw 4 cards. So
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like a lot to draw 4 cards versus 3 cards, but that's actually that's 25% more effective, which I think is a lot.
Oh, it's more the dig. It does. It makes a big difference. But I mean, the net number of cards you're getting is 1 ultimately, because you're spending 1 to get 2 at best, because you may draw all 3 of your amazing compasses and not be able to take any events. But
yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Compass would be really good in that deck.
Compass is really good with all decks, mate.
Yeah.
It's card of the century.
I wish it was a spell. I wish every card was a spell, actually. I'll just put that out there. Cards that are printed without the spell keyword are inherently inferior.
Because they can't recur. How's what's that card that basically turns every event into a recurring spell? The Dragon Tattoo that's been spoiled. We're like...
Turns everything into a spell? What?
Well, it doesn't turn them into spells, but you know the cuteness of how you can like recur your events? So the Dragon Tattoo lets you play them again.
Yeah, you can play a card and then you get its effect again, I think is the idea with that one.
Yeah.
You know what? So, I'm gonna go finding that card.
Because it's quite good. But that's the one it's like spoiled but from the novella or something, the dragon one?
Yeah,
something
that's right.
Like
You'll get
that.
like an alternate out of that. There's been heaps of spoilers lately, actually, hasn't there?
Well, it's kind of frustrating because like they go quiet for so long and then they just swarm you.
Yeah. It's literally called Dragon Tattoo. It's attached to a character you control. Attached character gains the tattoo trait. It is restricted. Thanks for that. After you play an event that chooses the attached character as a target, play that event again, paying all costs. You can choose new targets, remove that event from the game. Yeah. It costs 2 and it gives you +2 military. I don't know. I'm gonna have to test that one. That one is worthy of some test hosting.
I think the recursion on stuff is so strong. Like all you need is to stick it around for a turn or 2, and like every clan now has got a big suite of really rough attachments that are like 2-costers. And you can only justify running so much attachment hate, right? Like
2-cost attachments though, like they always just feel they taste really bad when I put them in decks. They're like, when are you ever really gonna run this, Merlin? Like you can attach it during a conflict where you might be protected by something like a Guest of Honor, or a Master of Gishitoshi. Maybe you're holding some cancels to cancel their let goes or calling in favors, but it just feels like the range of opportunities to use this card is instantly narrowed just because it's 2-cost.
Yes.
Attachment specifically.
Yeah, it's really strong, is all I'm saying. Like, you can do a lot with that, and most 2-cost attachments are like that. Like, in the few times I've dabbled in the past with both Stolen Breath and Pacifism, like individually, not necessarily even together. And they're 2-costers that don't even do anything for you, but Jesus, they're strong cards. Like, when you're running around and your opponent's giant tower suddenly just can't participate in one type of conflict, you're completely insulated. And it's great on offense, it stops them. Like, when you pacify a Kisada, for example, that's super good times.
I feel like, yeah, pacifism's good. It suffers from all of those things. In one of my decks, I think I've got a one-off pacifism.
Yeah.
Stolen Breath, yeah, similar. The ones that are really good, the 2-cost attachments, are things like Mark of Shame, where you basically just stamp a guy with a dishonor token, and that's it. Like, if somebody lets go the attachments, it's like an additional -1. The attachment's already done as much as it's going to do.
Yeah, I think that's a really cheeky card, though. Like, it should just be an event, right? Like, that extra -1 political for the attachment status is kind of neither here nor there. If you're going to have an effect like that. And it's the same as Hawk Tattoo. Like, really, it should have a different effect. Like, it should just work like the Unicorn mount, right? Where you just, once a turn, can move into a conflict. I know that's kind of boring.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous to print cards that are just like other cards, though.
Yeah, no, I feel
like...
Yeah, I
you know
know.
where I'm going, right?
I do. But I think, it needs to be something like that. Like, don't make attachments, cards that land do something once, for the most part, and then have that be the thing, because that's not attachments. They're there for the long haul.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, attachments is equipment that you carry with you. You can use it again and again. Yeah, I get.
Yeah,
it.
you invest to get
right.
long-term value.
Yeah.
So it's different. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk card value then. So all that stuff is old news. Recent news, at least to us, because we haven't had a podcast in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Tell me why, because I don't understand. I need convincing. Why is a new name, which is the 0+1/+1 Crane Void Roll only attachment that gives Bushi and Cordia?
So good.
Why am I playing this card? And before you answer, I feel like the points that need to be addressed are: First of all, it's roll locked. Second of all, it gives Bushi and Cordia. Why is that important? And why am I? And I agree that it's like the same value, like 2 skill for 0 cost in a card. But I still want, the +2s.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think you have to take the roll locking out of the equation because it doesn't impact the strength of the card. It's just how often you're going to see it. Right? So I don't like void.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like roll locking so much, but at the end of the day, if you're playing a void roll, that is irrelevant. You either play it or you don't, right? It doesn't make it stronger or weaker. Once it's in a deck, it doesn't change its playability.
No, that's true. Also, actually, the fact that it's a Crane card, also, I don't like that. Like, it feels like if I want this card, it means that the rest of my deck structure has to be based around the fact that I'm now Crane splashing, assuming I'm not Crane already.
I guess, but I mean, for like Phoenix, that's super easy, right? Crane is a very good splash. If you weren't inherently married to Let Go Splash.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I have been thinking about bringing back the Crane Splash. Putting the old Mirror's Gaze into the deck. There's a 2-cost attachment that I feel like people want to let go of that because the mind games of that attachment
it's offensive.
The mental gymnastics you have to get through.
Now, I think really with Phoenix though, like Soul Beyond Reproach, if an in out of an air roll is amazing, because Phoenix have got some pretty high glory dudes, and also they've got enough honor and dishonor effects bouncing around as it is to make like Soul Beyond Reproach and Noble Sacrifice just super easy to trigger. I think it makes quite a big difference. But anyway, onto our new little void roll card. I don't think the Bushi and Courtier trait thing is super relevant. It's just a thing it does that might be relevant later. Who cares? But +1/+1 for 0, I think is really good.
I think you might have convinced me actually with this card out of Phoenix, because Bushi will let you. So if you play it in a quote unquote Bushi deck, you could actually attach it to a Shugenja, and then all of a sudden they're a Bushi, and you can play all your Bushi cards, right? Yeah. So you can play the Period of Spirit to honor the character, and
I think any deck that is going to run like a balance of Bushi and Courtiers, or even one of those two and say Shugenja and Courtiers, or Shugenja and Bushi. So out of Phoenix, someone, I can't remember where I saw it, but you know the Yojimbo out of Phoenix, the bigger one, not the cancel one, the one that doesn't bow
when
if she's Courtiers or Shugenja. So you turn her into a Courtier and she no longer bows when defending with herself.
Wow. All right. Okay. Hang on. I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds fantastic. I'm gonna look that up.
I won't take credit for that. That was somebody else's. But I thought that's really neat. So they're the kind of weird things you're going to see out of that card. But while you're looking it up, I think 0 for a +1/+1 attachment is good. It's super good. It's not as individually strong as a Katana or a Fan. I'll note that it's not restricted though, so it stacks with both of those. But also, it's obviously more utility. You can use it either way. When you're running out of Crane or even Scorpion, or on the other side, if you're running out of, say, who am I thinking of? Crab, who've got plenty of 3-cost, not 3-cost, but 3-strength characters in a certain field. You only usually need that +1 to threaten. You don't need the full 2. It's the same reason I feel completely comfortable running Compass, right? I get all that amazing utility out of it, but I never miss the extra +1 from Fan. So it depends on your deck. Like, Phoenix's people are often a bit smaller when the little people, like, they don't have a lot of 3s. They've got a lot of 2s. So I can understand how taking that over a Fan or Katana might seem like a bad choice. But I don't think you'd choose.
You know
I think you'd run both.
Yeah, you know what? I am swayed. I agree with you. This card is not as bad as I thought it was originally. The Chikai Order Protector does not bow if you attach this thing to it as a defender.
Yeah,
that's
pretty good.
So good.
Yeah. And there will be other cards out there that do similar stuff that you just got to find. So,
all right. In that case, why don't we move on to the new stuff, the new juicy that fortuitously came out today as we were recording.
It was in the stars. It was meant to be. There's the new Phoenix card I misread at first, and I had a bit of a laugh to myself. The Student of Erotica, I thought was a bit bizarre.
No, you're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Fucking hell, the Phoenix have taken a turn.
You can't see what she's reading, man. It's like, why have they hidden what she's reading?
She's splashing Crane, and she's got a pillow book. That's what it is.
Dude. So, there's been a bunch of cards leaked, like, online, right? Like, people have somehow managed to get scans of a bunch of cards.
Yes.
Are we a podcast that really cares about spoiling just a little bit of the Student of Erotica because we actually know what the card text is? Are we that podcast?
I'm not that podcast, but I feel like you are.
Yeah, I feel like it's fine. Why don't we test the waters? Why don't we spoil this card?
All right, see how many cease and desist letters.
We'll see how much hate. We'll see how much hate it gets us.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Student of Erotica is forevermore known.
Student of Erotica. Yeah.
It's a 2-cost 1/1 with 3 glory.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure it's a scholar as well. So it's a Shigenja scholar.
Yeah.
And it says you may spend fate from this character to play spell cards.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's good, right?
You know what's really cool? Is it? Yeah, so I reckon you do stuff like Twist of Fate, where you like dump all your fate from one character to another, and you can bank stuff, just like shuffle it over to her for later on.
Yeah, comic twist, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. The other thing is that it's actually kind of flexible, right? So you can just put some fate over here, and it's not actually wasted fate. So, my big argument against playing that 2-cost 0/1 Cordia where you get a fate when you pass.
Yep.
I feel like the big argument for not playing that character is you could not play that character and then have the fate that you would have otherwise spent on that character without the horrible restriction of your opponent has to pass their conflict opportunity. Whereas this card, you can spend all of this fate, and then you can still spend the fate that you've invested on this character, right? So it gives you this kind of elastic.
Yeah. Though, can I point out that if you drop 5 fate on this guy, then you can. Then embrace the void.
Yes, that's right.
And then you 5 fires and get it all back. And I feel like getting all the fate back from 5 fires was a thing they mentioned recently.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes. So there are people out there in the Phoenix clan on the forums and Discord channels and things who are actively advocating for Embrace the Void over Tadaka as the restricted pick. Yep. And it's because it makes your deck super fate efficient. And your deck is already kind of fate hungry, especially with the strongholds, where every time you activate your strongholds, 2/3 of the time, 2/3 of the opportunities that you have cost fate. It's really good. But you're right. You put this one on. You put like an Oracle of Void. Embrace the Void on it, and you're like, I guess
I do what I want.
And you don't even have to wait until like the conflict phase, right? You can just buy this person in the fate phase, and you can't. No, you can't. You can't attach the Embrace the Void. So maybe you can do it in the draw phase, but you don't have to wait very long. You just do it. like people are worried about like assassinating it. Well, if that's your plan, to just get all of that fate back through Embrace the Void.
That is super good. And 3 Glory makes her a bit of a beast as well. Like, and a scholar means the little, what's her name? The unique two-coster that honors scholars when she wins. Well, no, when the Water Ring is claimed.
Yeah, when the Water Ring is claimed. Not even if you win the Water Ring.
Hey, apparently that erotica is potent stuff.
Clearly. I've always said so.
Phoenix Clan, master of porn. Elemental.
That feels like she's sort of wandered into the L5R universe from the Game of Thrones universe.
Yeah, that's right. She's looking at these scrolls in a lab and she's like, "What the hell have I found?" The image is hilarious. Now that it's in that context, forevermore.
Okay, right. Let's back back into reality where spoilers are normal and regulated.
Yep.
So that one. So we were talking actually, you know what? We've just talked about a Phoenix one. I feel like in order to be fair and balanced, we need to, talk about another clan card. What clan card stands out to you?
Oh, the new shoujo is too amazing.
Isn't it though? Oh. Have you noticed that he's sitting on the throne?
Oh, that's the first thing I noticed. But the flavor text in one clear moment, I'm not sure what that means. Whether it's not, he sits down and goes, "Maybe I should be emperor." And he sits down and goes, "I've made a terrible mistake." Or is it the other way around? He's like, I'm just gonna sit here for a second. He's like, "Oh wait, maybe I should be emperor." I'm not sure which way it's meant to be taken.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I haven't been keeping up with the fiction, but I had heard that something terrible happens. I don't know if why don't you tell me if you know what the terrible thing is that happens?
Well, so it's L5R, so terrible things are routinely happening. But the main thing is that, okay, so spoilers for people that aren't up to date with the fiction.
Mm-hmm.
5, 4, 3, 2, too late. Okay.
Roll the clip, Stephen.
Yeah, roll the clip. No, so Hante, the Emperor, the 38th, the big redirect bowman himself, basically has a little meeting with his eldest jerk son, Satori, and says, okay, and he lays it down and he says, so you and me, we're going to go on an adventure together. I'm going to abdicate the throne, and you and me, we're going to go off somewhere and like do things together, and we're going to be a monk, right? I'm going to shave my head. We're going to contemplate the fucking mysteries of the universe, 42 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then he says,
what is it? Daddy son time.
Yeah. And Satori's like, oh, stoked. Dad wants to hang with me. That's fantastic. Then the conversation goes a little bit further, and he says, and your brother will stay here and, do the throne. And then Satori realizes, oh shit, I'm getting dumped. I'm getting passed over, and I'm not getting the Emperor. He's offhanding to Daisetsu. Next minute, Satori has yeah, right. Well, not like he just blacks out basically, and he wakes up, and he's got Kunshu, which is like the imperial family sword, and he's like just stabbed the Emperor, and the Emperor's dead. So Satori kills the Emperor, and then Kachiko walks in and goes all like clean up crew on the whole thing, and all the Scorpions jump to action, and they're all cleaning everything up and fixing it, and then it all rolls out from there. But that's the core terrible thing. There's a whole bunch of other awesome stuff that happens in that scene. A lot of it is subtext. Some of it's not subtext. But like there are some really eager Aramuros involved who's like, yes, now is my time. But it's really good. Definitely worth. It's like the only one I've actually got out of my way to actually read.
I think when it was released, people were talking about it. It's like the one where when actually the Emperor gave Shoju the power, the writ of authority, so to speak.
Yeah.
So essentially, Shoju's in power. Is that right?
That depends because so the way it rolls out is Kachiko goes, okay, Satori, you know what? No, is it Satori? No.
Daisetsu?
No. So Satori, it's Satori and Daisetsu, right?
Yeah.
So who's the Imperial guy with the S name that crab run all the time?
Oh, Miya Satoshi.
Satoshi, that's the one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So he's involved in this scene as well. All right, like he pops in. It's a big fucking drama.
Of course he does. Like, he discards all the cards to find the Imperials.
Well,
Anyway,
he accidentally discarded the Emperor. That was the problem.
Oh, dude. Or
Rough.
all the provinces were broken.
Yes, all of them.
You
There were these
couldn't replace.
keeper initiates all over the floor. It was a fucking mess.
So he blacks out. There's an iron mine just randomly appeared.
Yeah, and it was too late because the Emperor's already dusted. Anyway, so the short of it is, Kachiko stitches it all up and says, "Oh, don't worry, he died of natural causes. It's fine," and gets and says to Satori, "Don't worry, we'll take care of you. The Scorpion are your best buds." And they fix it up, and they just basically erase the whole scene. And even Satoshi, who sees what's going on, is like, "You Scorpion are scumbags, why'd you kill the Emperor?" And then she's like, "No, actually, it'd be terrible for the Empire because the sun killed their thing, blah, 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 blah." Convinces him. So Kachiko has gone, "Don't worry, Satori will be the Emperor now, then everything's sweet." Because she doesn't know about Shoju being given the Imperial Regency of Daisetsu.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay,
Yeah, so she doesn't know. And she only finds out right at the end of the scene. Right? And then she's like, "Oh, fuck
like,
my life.
What are you doing?"
Husband and wife. Like, she's like, "Why didn't that dog bastard fill me in on the plan, first of all?" And then she realizes, "Oh, well, fuck me. He's got discard effects that'll fuck me up. So I'm going to get wasted if it's not worked out." And that's sort of where that whole thing leaves, is Kachiko's like, "Well, this is shit."
All right, so let's have a look at the Shoju card and see if we can't figure out what the Shoju card says. Like, what is all that story? How is that represented on the Shoju card?
So
your
opponent's
yes.
He's a courtier champion Imperial, so he picks up the Imperial trait. He's got dash for military, so he's no longer fighting, but he wasn't good at that anyway. 4 glory, so he's way more popular apparently. But your opponents cannot have the Imperial favor, so that certainly implies to me that whatever goes down, Shoju is now in charge.
I love the way how explicit or how final that sentence is. Your opponent cannot have the Imperial favor.
You know what really gives me warm fuzzies as playing as a Scorpion player is that I can do whatevs on turn 1. My opponent can crush me and get all of the stuff and claim the favor. But if on turn 2 I flip this guy and play him, they lose it.
Yeah. Just straight away. And it turns off a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, like not having to worry about censure as a card if you're already on the back foot is such a big thing. Like, it's most of the time I don't care about having the favor myself. I just don't want you to have it.
Yeah, that's right. And once Shoju's on the table, does Scorpion have a bunch of ready effects? I guess if you're playing about a Kyun Bayushi.
Kyun Bayushi, their stronghold. Yeah. What else have they got?
That's kind of it, though, right? Feels like it.
Yes. They do not have much else. But they've, you just splash them from elsewhere. There's always stuff.
And you've still got a good chance of just keeping the favor. Like, just getting the favor. Because he's full bloody glory.
Oh, if you manage to honor him, which is not, I suppose, that easy, but if you just get, that's 11 politicals swinging at you every turn. It's not super fun. But his ability, the reaction that has to go off every turn.
Oh, okay, yep.
So good, right? So every turn, forced reaction, after the conflict phase begins, everyone draws 2 cards, loses 1 honor. So the whole game just gets thrown into a timer. It just
Can you say Scorpion Mill?
Well, but that's already a thing. Like, Remedy had that going for a while. Consistently, he did really well, and this just kicks it into overdrive. Lose 1 every turn and draw 2. And if you're running that out of open hand, then you're running backhanded compliments, you're pretty well guaranteed that you're not going to be the first one to dishonor out, right? Like, when you all get really low, someone else is wearing that.
Yeah. I feel like Scorpion were already never in danger of being the first people to honor out. All right. Okay. Ishi Shoju. So, you know what, actually, the thing that I really want to... I really feel like this card is telling me is that characters are getting more and more powerful. You still with me, by the way?
Yeah, man.
Okay. It's just real quiet. We had a bit of a... Yeah.
No.
I wasn't sure whether you had disconnected. Anyway, characters are getting more and more powerful. So, can you imagine what the next version of Hidekasada is going to be like? Or the next...
Yeah, I think they I don't know about more powerful necessarily. I feel like they're getting more specialized, which I guess in a certain context is more powerful. But like this Shoju on paper looks way more powerful, right? But Outer Scorpion for glory is a monster liability. Like you don't have a lot of honor effects, and you've got a lot of dishonor yourself to do. Like you don't want to be using your Forged Edict with this Shoju, right? Like you're shutting him right down to 3. And the Force Reaction is the same effect on you and your opponent. Like everyone wears it.
I feel like dishonoring Shoju today is still great. Like I love seeing dishonored Shojus because he's what are you, like a 0-3 or a 0-4, something like that?
It takes him down to a 1-5 that can give you -2 political and still kill your people. Yeah. Like he's a beast. Like
I don't know. 1-5 doesn't seem like much.
Well, he's technically, I suppose, a 1. He's a 3-9 normally, functionally. Or he's a 3 or a 1-7 if you dishonor him once he triggers his ability, right? So
yeah, fair.
Super, super good. But yeah, no, look, I'm a big fan of this one. I especially like the dash-in military, so you can't freaking duel him and stuff with all the dirty.
Yeah, which duels are you worried about though?
Oh, the cancel?
Like, oh yeah, okay,
that's a big
cancel.
One. Toshimoku.
I was thinking of Duelist Training. Toshimoku. Yeah.
Auto neutralize duel. What's his name? Raitsugu. There's a lot out there, and they're.
I guess I should have thought about that one a bit harder.
Yeah. No, there is. There's quite a number that are super potent, and so long as they're not catching you by surprise, you can manage them. But that's the trick, though, isn't it? Making sure they don't catch you by surprise. You see dragon, you just need to sort of know enough to estimate what's coming your way. So
all right. So there's a bunch of other spoilers that have sort of come out today, but I think they would probably be covered by other podcasts more learned than we.
Yeah, I guess the Gallant Quartermaster makes me mad.
Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about that one. Which, hang on.
It's completely unnecessary.
Gallant Quartermaster makes you mad. Okay, so it's a 1/0/1 with 1 glory, Cordia.
Yeah.
Interrupt. When this character is sacrificed, gain 2 fates. What's wrong with that?
Like, why do Crab need more fate boosts and stuff? Like, they're just trying to hammer them. Like, Crab don't need any more juice for their sacrifice decks. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, functionally...
You know, I think this card is telegraphing something. This card is telegraphing that Iron Mine and Reprieve are going to go on the restricted list. And so for Crab to continue their immortal, theme, they're actually just going to need a giant pile of fates. You're going to need 3 core sets worth of fate tokens so that you can support a Crab Clan deck. So that instead of putting Iron Mines and Reprieves on people, you can just, pick up a fistful of fate and bury your character in it. That's what I think they're doing.
Yeah, well, look, I don't know. I like that theme. It's so strong. Like, I wish it wasn't as potent as it is, but I really like the idea that Crab are these stoic guys that, like, just won't go down. They just fight forever and they'll just keep going. But I feel like the implementation is a little rough.
Yeah, the theme, right? Thematically sounds great, but the whole one of the core mechanics of the game is that temporariness. People go away when their destiny is fulfilled. Crab's destiny is never fulfilled, so they never go away. And yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna gripe. I mean, it's the way Crab play, and you've got to find ways to play around that or play with that.
Actually, it wasn't on our list, but I wouldn't mind speaking just a minute about the same article that restricted Spy List. You spoke a bit about telegraphing, so it's not even telegraphing. It's a straight up shot across the bow to other clans from Tyler, where he just lays out his hit list after the Spyglass, and he goes, "Don't abuse these cards or they're going on the list." Did you catch that? He's like, here's what's up.
I'm
watching you guys.
Should we read a little bit of verbatim, or?
Well, we can rattle them off, right? So I think you don't want to sit here and read an article, but like So Watch Commander, Fight On, Mountain Does Not Fall, and Repriever, or the crab cards he mentioned. But where's the balance? What does he mention? Okay, so further down, right down the bottom, under a fine balance in that article, which we'll link. So he mentions explicitly Daidoji Uji, and like that was always going to happen, right? So Daidoji Uji is being watched for danger. Miyamoto's Daisho, which I think should have been on this list now instead of Spyglass.
You wouldn't be the only one.
Because that card completely transforms games. It's warping and it shuts people down. It's super duper strong. And it would get play even if it's restricted, I think is how you know it belongs on that list. Mm-hmm. And he's even mentioned KB and Open Hand for the Scorpion boxes.
So this, to be fair, this section of the article, while it does mention a whole bunch of powerful cards, and I think there is the hint of like, you know, I'm watching these, you know, every clan has powerful cards we're looking into to maintain this balance. But I think that he's referencing those just to kind of illustrate that there's a couple of different variants of Scorpion that are very, very strong.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I don't think... It's hard to know, because like, there were so many changes at the same time. Like, we've had so many packs come out, and the roles all changed, and then the restricted list changed, and the errata happened, and all that was within, like, a couple of weeks. So, but suddenly, out the other end of that, these really quite strong Scorpion dedicated Dishonor decks emerged, and there's a few different variants. And
at least,
there's a couple, and they're quite good. And they're routinely winning quite significant events. But so it's hard to know exactly which combination of those things made a difference, or if it was just all of them together. You know, like the stars just aligned and off it went, which I think is probably good. I like having a Dishonor deck out there. Having like 5 rings for me has always been a really good game because of the multiple win conditions. Like the multiple ways you can take home victory, and you can build different ways. And so, because there are so many different ways to win, your opponent has to, whilst they're building their deck, manage all of those, and when playing, keep them all in mind
solve the puzzle
until they know what you're up to, and then they can, you know, drive it home. But I did like at the end, though, I think he was looking for a way to reference everybody and how strong they are, and all he could muster for Lion was that they're doing quite well by running Forged Eagles.
Where, with the Scorpion allies,
Yeah.
That was good.
I thought, come on, dude. Yeah. So,
well, you know
what he's saying is, of all the stuff that Lion have, automatically dishonoring their core tiers is where their core strength lies at the moment. Which I thought was freaking hilarious.
But, actually, okay, all right, hang on. So, yes, he did say all of those things. Remember that he was on the live stream recently as well, so there were a bunch of things that were said out of that.
Yeah, I missed that.
One of them was, let me read through my notes. 28 Winter Court Championship deck is coming out. Crane deck, that's the Crane deck that won Worlds last year. Tyler said on the stream that the Lion Clan pack was July/August. So that's kind of promising. I mean, don't get me wrong, you got to take this kind of stuff with a grain of salt, given the Crane Clan pack in the UK and things like that. But it's not that far away. It's like weeks, you know, just a couple of weeks before the Lion get potentially a whole bunch of tools. And the clan packs have been really great for the clans.
They have. I mean, but you never know. They're always really good for the playability of the clan, but not necessarily the power. Like, Scorpion's clan pack didn't really increase their odds. It gave them a very different way to play. So that was the key. Like, I think that was very distinct. And also keep in mind that there tend to be cards in every clan pack. Not tend to be, there are cards in every clan pack for every other clan that are distinctly a kind of counter to that clan's themes. So maybe what I expect is... to counter Lion's themes, you might get like a crab card where they blow up their own provinces. Since Lion's themes are losing, the counter theme would be crab.
Lion's theme is losing.
Yeah, it is. So Lion's theme is losing the game, and so cards that counter that theme would be Crab lose the game instead to stick it to Lion and take their theme. That would be
great.
how it works.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree. But I think the clan pack is going to give some new life to Lion. There's some cards in here that I'm personally looking forward to playing, like Voice of the Ancestors. I really want to, like, this guy. It's like having two Spirit Callers, I think, on the table. So this guy takes a Lion character from your discard pile and pastes them onto a character that's already in play. So take your, Akodo Tutori and just slam a 6/3 onto something that's already in play.
I understand.
Or is it non-unique? But
can I? No, it's fine. But you were saying just a few minutes ago that 2-cost attachments were too much. So now you're talking about slamming a 4-cost Tuturi attachment on a guy and having that be amazing. What's wrong?
No. So this guy, Voice of the Ancestors, it's not an event; it's a character. So you bring him into play. He just kind of sits on the table. I don't think he needs.
No, is this not the guy that
stuff?
Is this not the guy that attaches them to people for 1 cost less? He's like the 4-cost.
Oh, 3/3? It does. Oh, it does. I thought it was just free. So there you go. There's
you pay.
reading the card wrong.
But no. If you take though, like Matsu Berserker, for example, would be a +3 military attachment for free.
Yeah.
Not terrible. I mean, anything free is not bad, and they're not restricted. You can only have 1 per guy, but whatevs.
I think this guy is actually kind of good.
Oh, he is. And Lion need extra shugs as well. Like, they've got some pretty neat spells and some good solid bodies at the high end. They just need some more Shigenja to sort of round that out and make it work. So I don't think he's not going to be enough, but it's a step in the right direction.
But I think there's definitely there's bolstering, and an increased robustness that I think that clan pack's going to bring to Lion. And I don't think Lion are actually like shit tier. I know we had a bit of a go at them at the start, but they're definitely not the strongest clan. But I got a Lion deck. I got the Lion deck with the Scorpion Splash. It's fucking a blast to play, and it takes games from people.
Yeah, I think I'm most looking forward to the new box out of Lion. That's my key. That 13 starting honor is super juicy.
Yeah. I think you and the WA guys were like chatting on Facebook today, and somebody mentioned the 11 starting influence for the
Dragon
Kitsuki box. I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. Like influence, that's a very interesting stat to kind of play with, because I feel like too far, too much influence, and you can really start bringing in a lot of power from other clans.
Yeah, because it's interesting though, because you're not going to see anything different out of more influence. You're just going to see more of it.
Yeah. But imagine, like, there's a whole bunch of 3 influence cost cards, or even the 4 influence cost cards that at the moment don't really seem like they're really worth the 4 influence. But the 3 influence cost cards, like Display of Power and stuff, you get more of those. Those are really powerful, good cards. Plus any sort of other filler things that you might want. More, I guess what I'm saying is more influence is a stat that, small changes can actually dramatically increase in power level, because you could include 1 more of a particularly powerful card, meaning more consistency.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I dig it.
What else do they say on the stream? Let me just go back to the notes. I'll quickly finish that off.
Dude, I keep sitting this Japanese zoo lion escape run thing fucking meme. It's so distracting. It's still just going. He keeps pushing over the guards.
And he like runs at the screen, right, where they're like trying to catch him, directly into one of the guard people, and he like bowls him over.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what a lion would do, right? Like if a lion was attacking, he would just like bump into you, not at all maul you to death.
Certainly not the lions we're aware of.
The Emperor's Legion, that's the Lion Clan pack. Da-da-da-da. So he said that Dragon and Crab were going to be before the end of the year. We kind of knew this, I think, already. He said that in the next cycle, the packs are each apparently going to have like a different theme. So pack 1 is like Bushi themed.
Yep.
Pack 2 is elemental sort of roll locked cards. Personally, I hope that's where the Shigenja all come in because that's my jam.
Well, that's Earth becomes Sky, right? In that one?
I really hope so. I mean, if it's roll locked cards, then yeah, that's probably where it's going to come in. It's probably not going to be available for Gen Con, is it? Certainly not going to be legal. Well, it's not like we have an Earth roll at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets interesting. Pack 3. He kind of talks about this Crane Civil War. I think one of the things that he said on the live stream was that each clan had a kind of division in it. There were like factions in the clan that were kind of fighting.
Yep.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Is that so? What would they? So you've got obviously the Crane are the two sides of Satsume's death. So Hotaru and her brother both fighting over what they should do about his death / murder / whatever. In the Scorpion, you've now got Kachiko v Shoju.
Yeah.
In Lion, you've got Toturi's side, and then
I can't remember her name. Yeah.
The wife of Toturi's brother who died and is angry that he's a jerk.
Yeah.
And isn't doing it right. So what else they got? Like Dragon, where's their schism?
I don't know. Dragon are getting another champion. Like a card with the champion keyword printed on it.
Saw that. That's super random. I wonder if she's like the Ruby champion or the Topaz champion or something like that. Like one of the random little champions. She'd have to be. Like she's not the clan champion. I mean, she can fight Tagashi if she wants to, but it's not going to go well.
That I think that brings him up to 3, right? It's Tagashi, Satomi, the one that starts with S.
Yeah,
somebody.
Yeah,
and
not Sumiko.
Sumiko. Yeah, sorry.
That's it. Yeah. So you can run 5 different champions with neutral Toturi and Yoritomo out of that deck. And
there's a bunch of cards that are like attached to a champion nowadays too, aren't there?
No, there's only one. There's Ofushikai. That's it.
Oh, really? Or maybe it's attached to a unique character that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think there's another one. Oh, there might be. Spoiled is, I think, Shunsu, the whatever it's called, the Imperial card, the Imperial sword.
Oh, Kunshu.
Kunshu, that might be a champion-y one anyway.
Pretty sure that's a Phoenix card. Yeah,
well,
that's my prediction.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was like a crab card or something like that?
Oh, who knows? It's great though. Recursion never broke games. 2-cost attachments with recursion, and it does something else. Busted.
And the 10,000 blade sword that has recursion too, right?
Oh, the 10,000 battle sword, also has recursion. Oh, it's gonna get rough. All right, so the Crane Civil War is Courtiers. Yep.
Pack 4 is Courtiers. Pack 5, I'm struggling to remember, but something about Kitsuki. And Pack 6 is the one that we just kind of saw. So it's about imperialness. So there's the holding that gives you +1/+1 with imperial stuff, and Shoju is imperial.
There's others as well. There's a little courtier who does. I think it was a really random effect. I didn't really rate it. Let me find it real quick because I'm organized. No, can't find it. Too bad. And there we go.
I think they were. Oh no, you're right. There's Castigated, which is Condition Imperial 000. Play during a political conflict only on a participating character and only if you control an Imperial character. If the attached character is political skill is 0, discard it.
That is
Do not discard if its skill's dash.
Yep.
Man, Scorpion are just like assassinating people left, right, and center.
I love that, mate. That card, Castigated, puts such a big timer on. Not a timer, but like you can just because it sticks around every turn. And Scorpion got so many dishonor effects like Sinister Soshi and Fiery Madness and all the dishonor effects. And if you run Satori as well, where you can give someone +3 glory with all the dishonor, like it's such a dangerous card to have out on people. It's really, really good. It's also an amazing
and
card.
The coin and the poison.
Yep.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff that's got
It is another card that can be splashed into Dragon really well. You know, the Dragon Shigenja 3-coster that lets you fish for attachments out of your deck by dumping rings.
Swordsmith? Oh, no. Yeah, that's
the
a monk,
Shunsen?
isn't it?
Nah, it's a Shug.
Shunsen?
Fire Shigenja.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But that card, I only recently found out, removes play restrictions. Like, they don't apply. So Liar's Mask and this one, you wouldn't need an Imperial person to use that. Although you might only be able to attach it to your own people, which you probably wouldn't want to do. But Liar's Mask and the Infiltrator both say, you know, only if your dial is higher or only if you're at 6 or less honor. They don't apply. You just drop them straight on the dude and he can use all those cool abilities. It's really neat.
Wasn't there a ruling about cards that were attached to people where they no longer met the conditions?
Yes, but that's different. That would be like play only on X type of person versus play only when X is applicable. One's like a variant condition, one is a person that can have it. Like they're two different things. Yeah. So enough. like Infiltrator, for example, if your dial is higher than your opponent's, then you can play it. After that, the dial is free to move around. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. The one that you were looking for.
The
2 cost, 1/2.
Steward.
Yeah, with 2 glory. Courtier Imperial. During a conflict in which this character is participating, choose a card in your opponent's conflict discard pile. Put that card on the top of its owner's deck.
Just in case your milling is too good. I don't know. Although there is a little bit of a, if you like Infiltrator. So you can take any card out of your opponent's discard, put it on top, then trigger Infiltrator, draw the top card, and use it. So you can
that's true.
You can.
Hang on, no, that's conflict deck. This is dynasty deck.
No, this is conflict.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry, no, it is conflict discard.
And also the illustrious plagiarist is much the same. You always do the top event of your opponent's discard pile. So if there's one card on top, or like people often will play a card like on top of that one to get rid of the event they don't want you to use. So you can sort of filter a bit back there. Like it has use.
It's very technical, right? Like it's very you have to like orchestrate this whole series of events. It feels like.
Yeah, I mean it's a cheap courtier that has the right keywords, so it's got Imperial for that kind of a deck, and if the condition comes up, it could be useful. I guess that's fine. I mean, 2 glory if you manage to get it honored, it could be a 3/4, which can hit some stuff. That's not bad. I don't know. But yeah.
Alright.
Should we move on?
So it's pack 6. I think we have run out of agenda at this point.
Oh really? Well, because we're at like an hour and 12 minutes, so we've run the gauntlet already.
When are we not at an hour and 12 minutes?
I live at an hour and 12 minutes. I'm always there. Yeah. But no, look, I like it. Again, we've run out of time, but we'll try and get some guests on soon. We'll go through the guess what stats are applicable for your clan and stuff. It'll be really good.
Yeah.
It's been good.
All right. So, let's wrap it up with some shout-outs. Is there anybody that you would like to shout out this week?
Shout out to everyone. Everything's good.
It's very inclusive of you.
In Western Australia, we've got our Elemental Challenge here on the 20th of July, I believe, or the 22nd. Pretty sure it's the 20th. So yeah, we're all very, very keen for that, and we're going to get stuck in. It's our first decent event.
Cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
All right. Just in time for the end of the sort of second season 2 of the Elemental thing.
Yeah, right. That's how we do it right at the end. Yep.
Which is fine. Like just in time. You always do things just in time. That's the right time to do everything.
Yeah.
So some things of note. Coming up at the end or sort of mid of August is the Kotai up in Sydney. But also maybe not on people's calendars yet is National Championships. The Grand Championships for Australia is up at 20-something of November, I want to say.
That is
Yeah?
it's 23rd
23rd of May. Okay, sorry, 23rd of November.
November. Yeah.
Up in Brisbane. So I think I'll probably try and go to that one. They put up some decent prizes for that. Full arts and extended arts of stuff.
Yeah.
There's no participation, but there's like a whole bunch of topper clans and top 2 of each clan and things like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm still trying to muster myself together and see if I can find a way to make it to either one of these. It's hard. It's just the
you're not
time.
coming to the Kote?
Oh, it's like literally, I'm in Broome, and then I get home from Broome because my flight was pre-booked ages ago, right? So, which is up north in Western Australia, same state, but it's like quite a flight. Anyway, important event, 60th birthday for my parents, all the rest. We went up there. We got to fly back, and I will get back to Perth at the airport. I'll land at like between 8 and 10 o'clock at night on the Friday. And I would then have to jump on a flight, get myself over to Sydney, to then come straight to the Kote and play from 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, it will be rough. It will be hard to do if I can even get the flights, and I'll be a complete zombie.
I don't think did you come over to Melbourne for an event? Like, did you come for the last Kote?
I didn't know I missed it. No, I didn't. Yeah, really, because we only sort of just kicked off over here with serious play at that point.
Okay.
It was still building up. I went to a Kote in Old Fibre in Emperor Edition. Went to the Melbourne one. That was really good. I was over there for that.
All right. Well, I hope that you can somehow manage to swing it. Maybe there's like a puddle jumper from Broome that you can take. Who knows?
It's a big puddle.
Yeah. I want to say that the top 4 of the Discord League is up, and I've sort of posted that in the Discord League channel. I think even though a bunch of cards have been released, we're still going to sort of keep the format that has been going for most of the league all the way to the finals at this point. And I'm hoping to stream some of those games, depending on when the players organise. So maybe look out for that.
Yeah, I'd love to. I've got real internet now as well. I've got a proper
I've been
fibre
hearing about
internet connection. It's very exciting. It doesn't just drop out. I have less than 1% packet loss consistently, which is amazing. It's very exciting.
People that are listening to this won't know, but you and me talking right now, it's actually you sound different right now than what you normally do. When you came on the call, I thought you were Clint, right? For some reason it just didn't sound like you, and I reckon that's probably your internet connection.
It's clear and it's good. But I'm very keen because I can't actually watch Twitch streams because it lags too much. Like I couldn't see them before. Now I can see them.
You can now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, now I can. It's amazing. It's a whole new world.
A whole new world.
On that note.
Yep. I hope I've inspired some young people out there.
Everyone's busting. They're going to be singing Aladdin songs the rest of the day.
Do you know it's like a cultural icon, Aladdin? Don't knock Aladdin.
Is it? Which culture?
The old one. Which culture?
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I feel like any answer to that question is just going to get me in trouble.
Can I throw out there that you're aware that entire culture has been ruined for the next generation because now it's Will Smith.
Is that ruining it though? Like, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen the film and I have definitely heard that it's pretty terrible. But how does that ruin my childhood?
I've been told
my childhood was fine.
Yes, but thankfully you haven't been breeding. So
thankfully, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no, just it's a nightmare. No, it's alright. No, it's good.
Yeah, I could definitely not stand miniature me's running around.
Yeah, all the beards would get in the way.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Until next time.
All right. Talk to you later. See you,
Cheers, man. See ya.